TOMGIRL, where we talk all things sports, entertainment, fashion, and adventure. Our guest today is a visual content creator, portrait and brand photographer, and former actor. You have seen her work on the cover of People magazine, in the LA Times, Fortune, Variety, Good Housekeeping, and many, many more. She has also done the photography for Tiffany Thiessen's two cookbooks, and now she's teaching women everywhere to show up better online and own their brand. Please welcome to the show, Rebecca Sanabria.
Hi, thanks, JJ.
How are you?
Thanks. I'm good. It's so good to see you.
I know, so good to see you too. When we were talking, I can't believe I thought it'd just been like, maybe 5 years that I haven't seen you, and now we're thinking it's
Like
been like close
10
to
years. It's closer to 10. Let's not talk about it. Let's not
let's
talk about it.
we know.
Last time.
Yeah, totally. Well, I love, I've, been stalking you online, social and everything. And I just am so happy for all the success that you've had and, looking at your cookbooks and your photography. So, just catch us up a little bit and kind of talk about, your career and like your journey of kind of how it led to where you are now doing these great photo shoots for people.
Oh, well, last time we saw each other, I was still doing voiceovers and still an actor. And, I will always be an actor, but working for a living, I was still an actor. And I've always had photography as my passion. I was still doing it when I was in LA. And then there came a point where I had three kids, and I just was like, I can't do the auditions anymore. And so I transitioned, and now full time photography. And it's been probably 18 years that I'm doing photography as my main thing, and voiceovers and acting just kind of fell away.
Well, it looks like, your photos are just amazing. You're just in
Oh,
love.
you're the best.
But talk about how kind of it's evolved. Because did you start out doing
Sure.
headshots and now get to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I started photographing friends who needed headshots for work, for acting, and that kind of evolved to other people needing other imagery for books. So I started doing, oh gosh, books for like an eco-friendly makeover. So all these celebrities did their houses and they had all these makeovers for their houses. So I did that book and I photographed all these interiors. And then I started working with Tiffany Thiessen, and we started doing a lot of brand content for her, for socials and for her website. She still has a blog, but when blogs are a bigger thing. And then she asked me to do her first cookbook, and that was, gosh, I think 8 years ago now, 7 years ago. And then her second cookbook, and in between all of that, I've just grown. My business just has grown, and I have even pivoted from headshots and food to now I work primarily with women, and women who have their own businesses, lots of entrepreneurs, and women that just have really great stories to tell. And I just like helping amplify that and help them tell their stories so they can tell that to, the world.
I love, like, scrolling through your feed and stuff. It just, I feel like just women can really, relate to you because you make it seem, I know on one post you talked about the ick factor with social media. So talk about that because that definitely resonated with me because I have.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, okay, so I had struggled with the exact same thing, the ick factor with social media. Like, oh, what do I post? It feels so self-absorbed. It feels so all about me, me, me. Um, and what switched for me is when I found the reason why I needed to be posting. So the purpose of why I was posting, and not just posting so that people can see my life or my family or the trips I'm taking or all of that. But for me was, again, my purpose is to help women amplify their stories and help them show up better online. And so once I kind of pivoted that to realizing, oh, that's what I'm trying to speak about and speak to, it became way easier to show up online. So I think if you find your purpose, I think it makes it a lot easier to present yourself online where it feels kind of, self-absorbed sometimes.
Yeah, that's definitely what I thought. I'm like, oh, like I just post all these pictures on my, cell phone. But it's like it never bothers me.
Yeah.
When I see it for other people, I'm like loving it. It's
No.
great. But I just for myself, it's just really hard to do. So yeah.
Yes, I totally get that. And I also think the more you do it and the more clear you are about what you're trying to speak about, um, it becomes easier and it becomes less gross because you become more clear about what you want to say. And so, the things that you feel like you're pushing in order to present yourself kind of fall by the wayside. And so that ick factor kind of slowly, it dissipates. It dissipates. Yeah.
That's great. That'd be nice. What are also some of the other tips or things that when working with other women that you found are some of the things holding
Sure.
back or ways to help them be better?
Sure. I would say half of the game is mental. So if you're feeling good, if you're taking care of yourself, if you have your self-care kind of dialed in, you will feel good in front of the camera and you will like the photos that you get. You will like the videos that you get. But I've found throughout my career of photographing women is that when somebody comes in and they're clearly stressed and they're unprepared maybe, or um, don't have a clear idea of what they want out of the session, then they will not like what they're getting from me. Like there's nothing I can do. There's no magic I can do. And so I would say that's half the game. Preparation is the other half. So knowing what you are presenting. So what story are you trying to tell about yourself, about your brand, about your business? Um, then everything else should kind of fall in line. What kind of clothing you're going to wear will fall in line with the story that you're trying to tell. Same thing with your styling. Um, all of that kind of comes together. And I think that goes in line also with social media in terms of what you want to post is when you have a purpose, when you have a reason for why you are saying the things you are saying, it all becomes more clear and easier to do. That being said, don't get a facial 2 weeks before your session. Don't do Botox before your session. Because if you do it, your face won't move. Better to have movement and edit out wrinkles if you want. Yeah, don't get a haircut the week before. None of those things, because those can all be disasters if you do it right before a session.
What do you do? Like, what do you do when you're meeting a new client to kind of help create their branding or figure out what you're going to do, what your plan?
Sure, sure. So I have a conversation with every client that I have. I do a deep dive on their websites, on their socials, kind of get an idea of who they are as a person, and kind of if they don't even know what their story is and what they're trying to tell, I help them figure it out. So I'm able to see somebody's through conversation, again through the website and social, what they are hoping to tell people. And then I can help streamline that, and I can help them be more clear through imagery, through videos. Um, and that way we can, again, find that purpose for why they are doing what they're doing so that their message becomes clearer and everything becomes more obvious to the people looking, to people watching, to the people consuming content.
And then so walk us through what somebody signed up to work with you and then it's shoot
Yeah.
day. What's kind of a shoot day?
Yeah. So before the shoot day, there's a lot of prep. So I will send recommendations of clothing. I will look through your clothes. I will make sure that the stuff will look good on camera. I will talk to you about how to prep, meaning self-care, what kind of things you should be doing for self-care. Sleeping, obviously, don't drink for a few days, alcohol before the shoot. Working out, like all the obvious things. If you can do those beforehand, it would make your shoot a lot better. And then the day of the shoot, so depending on where we're working, usually it's someplace where people are doing their work, because I like to have people in their environment. It tells the story better than just on a white background, or which is also fine and can be one component, but I do love people in their spaces. So I will take in their space. I will see what parts will tell the best part of their story. And then we just kind of have fun. It's like conversation. We just talk all through the shoot, and I get to know my client more. And that gets the best out of them, I find, in my experience.
Well, your photos just look amazing. And I love, that's one thing I could tell
Thanks.
quickly in looking at the different women you photograph. I got the vibe, whether they were like a businesswoman, whether they were a mom, what they were going for acting, if they were creative. So it really comes out really, really clear. You can tell that you put a lot of work into the prep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I think just getting to know people, listening to somebody's story also helps with that, because I really am genuinely interested in the people that I photograph, and I get to photograph people that just do vastly different things, from finance to acting to somebody who has a goat farm. So I am genuinely interested in how you got to where you are. And every single person that I have photographed has something to offer, something to help other people around them. And I am genuinely curious about the people that I photograph. And I think that that helps.
Yeah. And then you also post a lot of just tips on your social. Like you kind of give away your secrets sometimes. So, like what are your secrets? I know you give some things about lighting or the kind of like gear that people who maybe don't have the
Sure,
funds to do a professional shoot right now, but need something to get
sure.
going, some things that they could.
Yeah. I mean, getting a professional photographer to photograph you every week is expensive. It just is, and that's just not viable for a lot of people. But the phone that you have in your hand, whatever, Android or iPhone. I'm an iPhone user, so I teach mostly about iPhone. But it's a great tool, and I photograph and video a lot of my clients just on my iPhone. So when you know that, you just need to find good light and have a good story. And once you have that, the technical aspects, as long as the sound is okay, kind of go by the wayside. It doesn't matter. I mean, you've seen videos on social that the quality is not great, but the story comes through. So it doesn't matter
Yeah.
that it's kind of grainy, you know? Um, so I want people to understand that they can do all the storytelling they need with the phone that they have in their hand.
Do you have other gear that you like to use, like either a tripod or how to shoot on your?
Yes. Yes. So I have a tripod that has, if I'm shooting with iPhone, I have a tripod that I like to use that has a magnet and a clasp on it, so I don't have to worry about it falling. And it has a remote, so you can get it going without having to, touch the phone. I also have a gimbal. I'm sure you know what a gimbal is, but a gimbal is um, it kind of steadies the movement of the camera. So I have a gimbal for my iPhone. So when I shoot video on my iPhone, I use the gimbal, which makes it look more professional, even though it's still iPhone. And then that's when I shoot with my iPhone. But other than that, I shoot with Nikon. I mean, I have a gazillion lenses and lights and all that too. So I kind of do a mix of both, depending on where the photos or videos are going to end up. Like if it's on social, I'll of course take professional photographs, but the videos, the quality does not need to be, you know, 4K HD, does not need to be super pro. Again, it's more about the story than the quality.
And then you've added using apps and things like sub
Yeah.
for captions. Were some of those things that you like to use?
So I like Subcap for doing captions. I think captions are super important for social media because I don't know how many times you go through Instagram and I don't even have this sound on. And if I can't read what you're saying, I just skip. So Subcap's a really good app to do captions. I use Video Leap for editing. It's fantastic. Video Leap has Video Leap. It has Photo Leap. I mean, they have like a bunch of different apps through that brand, but they're fantastic. I like using them a lot. They're very easy to figure out. Um, Other than that, oh, Facetune, if you want to like do a little, photoshopping on your face, that's a good one. And then, oh, there's more, but those are the main ones. Those are the main ones.
All right. Well, thank you. Those cover a lot of the good media tips
Hopefully.
for people. So let's switch gears a little bit. So
Yeah.
maybe for those people listening who maybe have an interest in being like, it's amazing all the magazines and trades that have featured your work. How have you gotten into those, and how have you grown that part of your profession?
So I have been lucky where the clients that have come to me are people that end up being in those magazines. So I haven't had to pursue magazines. They have come asking for the imagery of my clients. So I can't give people necessarily advice on how to get into those magazines. But I think just having quality work and I think it says a lot about anybody who has a lot of referrals that I get referred to a lot of other people that are in similar, you know, areas, and then those photos just get put in magazines. So yeah,
What would
I
your
wish I could say it was my talent, but it was just my clients. I get really good clients.
Oh, it's your talent. Do you remember what was your first big one when you're like, oh my gosh?
Oh my goodness. I did get the cover of People magazine one time, which was kind of like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
May I ask who that
That
was?
was pretty neat. That was pretty neat. That was with Tiffany Thiessen. So she was on the cover of People magazine. And again, she's awesome. She's very loyal with, the people that she works with. So that was pretty neat because they come saying, we've got a photographer for you. And she really goes to bat for yeah, the people she works with, which is great.
Yeah. Well, finding a great photographer, it's hard, it really is. Like you have to have that talent. But since you brought that up, I do have
Yeah.
a copy of this wonderful thing. It's so amazing. And oh my
I
gosh,
love
I just
it.
love it. Like I'm sure everybody needs to go out and get it because it's amazing. But like it's just also for people who are watching. I mean, look at some of these photos. It's just like
That was super fun to
so
do. That was really fun to
like
do.
it just has such a like I love the retro like fun.
Retro vibe. So
Yeah.
it's very different than the first one, Tiffany. The first one that we did together, I mean, it was also super fun, but we were just so excited about the first cookbook that we just wanted to do it the way perfect, right?
Yeah.
And this one we felt really good about too, but we got more creative and we got to play. So she came to me and said, "Oh, I want to do a '70s kind of retro cookbook." And I thought, "Oh, this sounds awesome."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really fun to do. It was really fun to do.
What's the difference kind of between, shooting people, shooting her, or, shooting the food?
Yeah, food is very particular because, and of course we had amazing food stylists on set. So a lot of props to them. They did the heavy lifting when it came to making the food beautiful. But there's different things. When you photograph a person, it's more about getting their personality. And with food, you want to make it look delicious. So there's different intent when you approach food versus people. So there's a lot of technical things that go into photographing food where I feel photographing people is more emotional. The technical part has to be there. Obviously, you need the right exposure and all that, but it's more about getting the emotion out of the person that you're photographing.
And talk about some of the post work that you do, because I know you do
Yeah,
a lot with the different backgrounds or, like just really
yeah.
making the pictures more have that pop and stand out. So what are kind of things that you do for that?
Yeah, Photoshop is a huge component, obviously, to photography. Um, I mean, it changes the whole vibe of a photo. I mean, now AI is so crazy. I've been playing with that. We did our holiday card with AI, which was super fun to do.
Cards, by the way, they're my favorite. I might have to post some of the like the,
Thanks.
I love that you guys put yourself in these posters. They're awesome.
A lot of times my kids just they don't know what we're doing, but they're so trusting. They're like, okay, sure, sure, sure. Um, yeah, so AI is so crazy. I mean, I gave my husband a photograph of himself like a duke for Father's Day this year. He's not a duke. I don't know if you know that. He's
Oh,
not
what?
duke. He's not a duke. He's not a duke. But dressed up as a duke, and it's ridiculous how real it looks. I mean, AI is kind of blowing my mind and also terrifying me. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, Photoshop is such a huge component of all of it. I mean, food gets retouched a ton, not because it doesn't look beautiful, but sometimes the colors get washed out, or you need to retouch a kernel of rice that was in the wrong spot. So there's a lot of meticulousness that goes into food photography retouching, versus people, where it's more about, again, wanting the emotion and getting the personality of the person. But then also, I don't know about you, but I don't need these wrinkles to be showing up so clearly.
Oh, I hear you. Yes.
Yeah. So, softening those areas. So it's less about seeing those things and more about the emotion, again, the story that the person is telling. And, I always tell people people used to get so funny about retouching, like, I want to just look like me, which I totally get. But I feel like the way I retouch is that you still look like you, but the best version of you. Like, I don't want to get rid of wrinkles completely. I just don't want them to be the first thing that people are seeing when they look at your photo. Yeah.
Mhm. So you've also been all over the world with your photography. Do you have any particular stories or places that you've been to that really stand out, or places that you just love to work in?
Are you going to take me somewhere? I'll go wherever you want to go. Do
Okay,
you
okay,
want to
let's go.
go?
I can come up with some adventures for us. Yeah.
That'd be great. I'm into it. I'm into it. I grew up in Belgium. I don't know if you knew that, but I was in Belgium. I lived there till I was 13. So I, and to this day, still value any place that has art. I'm very art driven. So um, I don't know if I necessarily would just say one city was my favorite place to photograph, since it's, quite frankly, for me, it's more about the people that I'm photographing than necessarily the places. Um, but I don't know. Amsterdam was fun. California is always great.
To California.
I know. I come back a lot. I come back in like 2 weeks. I'll be back.
Yay.
Yeah, I know.
I know one of times you're back because I know our mutual friend Scott Parkin, he was always
Yeah,
raving
yeah,
about
yeah.
your photos. So I've all followed you doing
That's
that
so
for you
sweet.
too. Yeah. Um, anyway, so oh, I know what I was going to ask you. So I didn't know the Belgium thing, but now I know that in the last 3 years you've been to Iowa, now to Dallas. So talk about
Yeah,
kind of as a businesswoman with your own, career going, how have you managed to shift to those different cities? Talk about leaving LA,
sure,
going to Iowa and having a family and just having it all evolve with you.
sure. Um, I will say, I loved living in Iowa. It was great to have kids, young kids, and be in Iowa. I was so calm, and it's just the way of life is just a lot easier and a lot slower in some ways, which is great. However, I'm so happy that I would travel and go different places for work so I could get, scratch that itch. Um, I would say that just being in different cities, I've had to restart my business locally and every time that I've moved, but I have always traveled. So it does create a sense of urgency when people know that you're coming to town, but you only have a week. And so times when people would maybe go, "Oh, I need to schedule a shoot, but oh, I don't feel ready yet. I'm not thin enough, or I still need to get my hair done, or whatever the excuses are to not get in front of the camera." I get it. I know nobody loves getting their photo taken. It kind of removes some of those things because people thought, "Oh, I have to get it done. She's only here a week. I gotta schedule it." So in some ways, it kind of helped my business because those excuses kind of had to be pushed under the rug so that people would just pull the trigger, um, which has been good. That's been good. It's been a good component of it.
I am definitely guilty of that because as soon as I was like, I need to shoot with you. And then I was like, we talked about being ready. I saw you were going to be in August. I'm like, well, I'm not ready for that one. I'm like, but
No,
like she's coming back in November. I'm like, yes, I can get everything. Like it definitely kickstarted my like
it
little
does.
finger under my ass. Like, okay, I
It
got
does.
no excuses to
Because
not.
no one, I will tell you, it is across the board. No one is excited about getting their photos taken. No one,
Yeah.
no one. And especially if you're over the age of 18, you start,
Yeah.
being more critical of yourself and the way that you look, and aging on camera is challenging. And everyone's got something that they don't like about the way that they look.
Yeah.
Everyone has something. So there's never a great time. There's never a great time.
But that's what's so fun about you making it so fun because I think that's like seeing your stuff. It just seemed really inviting and like, no, this would be a fun collaboration, and fun to do. And none of us want to do it, but it's necessary for our business.
Yeah.
Or when
Yeah.
people ask you trying to sell, push yourself and you don't have those great photos to it makes presentation right is a big
It's
deal.
it's a huge component. I mean, I don't know about you, but when my electrician comes to the house, I get a photo of the person, the tech who's coming to the house so that I know who's showing up. So my electrician has photo. I mean, everybody has photos.
Yeah.
Everything is visual. So yeah, photos are important. And again, well, I have looked for therapists online and I have looked at therapist photos and gone, "Ooh, I don't think I could talk to that person."
I did the same
Right?
thing. That's how I found mine. I liked his photo and I was like,
Yes.
it's like a kind guy. Like I think I could talk to him.
Yes. I think he could be helpful.
But
So yes, photos are hugely important now. I mean, everything is online. If you're not online, you're kind of a unicorn.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What other either tips or just things that you've noticed, working in, words
yeah,
of wisdom that you would have to share for people, either, either doing your career or like wanting to have, photo work done.
sure. Well, I would say being a creative, as you know, you're also a creative person. I mean, it, it's always up and down, and it's never there's never any gliding, I would say. So, if this is what you want to do, just know that it's going to be up and down. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love the people I get to meet and the places I get to go and the experiences and the stories I get to tell. But it's challenging, I would say. I would say because there's lots of ups and downs. And then for women especially, getting on camera, again, never the best time. There's never going to be a perfect time to be on camera. And people also want to see you. They want to see you. They want to know your story. They want to know about you. Even if you feel like it's self-absorbed, it's not. It's not. People are curious. They want to know about who you are.
Yeah.
So get on camera.
I know.
No pressure. No pressure.
No, I just like you're great. I hope people, like listening to it, you are inspired to just like I just did a deep dive of your feed the other day. I was like, I could just watch this forever. Like it's just so because I love your personality, and I love the way I'm like, she just makes everything. She's making this seem so much more fun and just,
Good. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. And I will say, when people do come and shoot with me, we have a good time. We have like a great time. I want it to not be pressure for anybody.
Yeah.
It's just a photo.
Tell her you also so much you're like, it's just a photo.
It's just a photo.
You also now are selling your photos. So I saw you have like a print shop online.
I do.
Talk about that.
I do. So again, from all the places that I've gotten to travel, I've taken landscape photos, and so photos from Joshua Tree, photos from Paris, photos from all over the place that I have put up there, as well as imagery from my cookbooks, Tiffany's cookbooks, that we photographed together, which are in themselves works of art. I mean, I'm saying that about photos I've taken. That's probably pretty egotistic, but they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. Yeah, they're like, I think they're so cool. Anyway, so they're in the print shop, and so are photos from different places that I've gone to visit. So I just thought, oh, this is a whole area that I don't ever show or promote, but it's also something that I love and I'm passionate about too.
Yeah. And I think I love that because I have a hard time finding stuff like for my walls because it's like a lot of the, art just looks the same. It looks like something you picked up at, Kohl's or, wherever,
Home goods.
Exactly. It's like you want something that means something or has a little flair to it. Do you do the framing as well, or do you just provide the prints?
Yeah, so the framing as well. I think my print shop has the option to just get the prints also. I'd have to double check. I have to look and see how it's set up. But yeah, it comes all framed. You get the whole thing just ready to go. You just have to hang it on your wall. Make it easy.
Are there any places or people that on your bucket list to shoot?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would like to go to Japan. I haven't been anywhere in Asia, so I would like to go to Japan. I've been all over Europe and Eastern Europe, and I've been to Africa. Anyway, I've been all over the place. I'd like to go to Asia and photograph some people there. That would be great. I would love that.
There'd be so many things to shoot over there.
Oh my gosh, it would be incredible. Incredible.
Well, I could seriously talk to you forever. Is there anything, well, I know let's ask this. When you're not shooting, like what
Yeah.
are your other passion projects? I know we know photography is your passion, but are you an adventurer or do you like to just be outside or what do you like to do?
Definitely outside. I have three kids, so we're always trying to wear them out before they wear us out. So outside, climbing, doing things, hiking, anything nature related for sure. And then we also, again, I love art. So we go to art museums, we go to art openings. Art is definitely a huge part of our life. My husband's an artist. I think a couple of my kids are leaning that way. And yeah, so we just try to find different ways of seeing different things and the way other people see the world differently than we do.
Are there any spots that you really like to go to in your current city of Dallas?
So I do like going to art openings here. So different galleries, smaller galleries, just because I mean, I love the Dallas Museum of Art, the Kimball, the Nasher. I love all those museums, but the ones that are kind of a little bit more groundbreaking and pushing the edges a little bit more are the ones in the smaller galleries. So we really like going to the smaller galleries to see what new stuff people are coming up with.
Well, I thank you so much for sharing all this and giving everybody this fun insight into,
Thank you.
to your world.
Thank you for inviting me. It's so great to see you.
It's so great to see you too. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to catch up more after this too.
For
Uh,
sure.
I think we kind of already did a lot of words. Any last words of advice, like lingering out there for anybody on how to just get some killer social media marketing going?
There's some accounts that I like to follow that will give me ideas of things to do. I can give them to you so you can post about them. But there's a few accounts that kind of get me a little inspired and go, oh, I could do that, or that doesn't seem so hard, or I can post about that. Because the whole idea is if you take more than 20 minutes to kind of create a post for Instagram, it's too long. It's too long. It's got to be quick and easy. Otherwise, you won't be consistent and it just becomes more of a job. And
Yeah.
it should be fun. Social media should be fun.
That's a huge thing because I definitely will say there's times I get down with like, or I'm going to do something that feel like it's going to take too long, and then all of a sudden, it just never gets done. So
Yeah, it has to be 20 minutes or less. 20 minutes or less, unless it's something that you're doing for other reasons and it's a bigger creative. But
yeah.
if you're just trying to connect with your audience, 20 minutes or less, it should be really, really, really quick.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
tell everybody where they can follow you on Instagram, Matt, and your website and all the
Okay.
good.
On Instagram, I'm How Rebecca Sees It. And then online, I'm RebeccaSanabria.com.
Oh, there you go,
Easy.
everybody. And then where can they get your books?
Oh, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, they're all over the place. So you can order them, or indie bookstores. Go to indie bookstores.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're just
Thanks,
such
JJ.
great life and spirit, and I love how you're
I
empowering.
think the same about you. I think the same about you.
Oh, thank you. Well, we think that about all you listeners out there too. So go follow Rebecca, and I'm telling you, you're gonna love her work, and hopefully you'll want to shoot with her and have her create wonderful images.
Be great.
You're awesome.
That'd
So
be great.
thank you all so much for listening. You can follow us everywhere at TOMGIRL TV, Facebook, Instagram. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcast, and we'll see you here again next time. Get outside. Bye.
Time, girl.